Good afternoon, dear friends. My name is Gavin Eveland, and you are watching Day 68 of the Art Life video blog.
Right, I'm Christopher Hoisington.
My name is Jacob Wolf, and we are very excited to be here today with Gavin.
Thank you, Gavin, for doing that. That was great. You can see his paintings behind us here. They're so intense.
Are intense. Actually, I'm gonna do this really quick.
Yeah, do it.
Because I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's just no way to describe. And when you're sitting here, the texture of the paint on the canvas, the colors, along with the subject matter, you know, I mean, he's got muscle tissue and bone exposed and tentacles, a snake that looks braided almost. And he's got all kinds of strange creatures. It's just, but the colors, I think, the colors and is there an emotional thing that happens for you behind these?
Sensations. I look for sensations and what compels me in what I find. I gather, images from everywhere, and I just put it all together just to try and make fireworks and just.
So it's a real visual thing for you, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, it's really intensely visual. But there is I get an emotional reaction to, I mean, it's not quite gore. There's no blood. It's not gory, but it's
Yeah, gore would imply a
so
mutilation.
Yeah, no.
This is for a section.
Yeah, this is it's a surreal experience to look at these. I mean, there's so many different kinds of creatures. This one right here behind you, he's got the tentacles. It almost looks like this whole thing up here is a single creature.
There's so much going on in each of the paintings. Like, it draws you to it and almost captures you and doesn't let you get away. It's like, alright, if you look at this, you're going to want to look at it more and deeper. And that's every single one of these.
Yeah, I try to reward the viewer and, give it fireworks. And
how did you end up landing on this subject matter? I mean, it's must have been a sense of discovery for you, right? I mean,
I have my influences, Francis Bacon, Munch, and Go, what have you. But what really interested me is grotesque and where it came from. The grotesque is highly misunderstood now, but the word grotesque was coined in the Italian Renaissance, an anonymous painter from Milan, coined it because of the ancient ruins of when they were doing up the Roman palaces.
Yeah.
Especially Nero's Golden House, and what they found on there, on the walls, was these massive murals of things that were really illogical, people with animal parts and buildings being held up with pencil thin pillars, and it made absolutely no sense. I mean, in a logical sense, it didn't conform with what they thought would antiquity, harmony, proportion, and beauty, and they called it grotesque. And it comes from grotto. Grotto means from underground.
Okay.
Even though they used to be palaces, but they were buried underneath.
Right.
And that it just took off from there, and really affected creativity. Whereas artists could do what they wanted instead of reflecting life exactly all the time.
So what year was that when they coined that? Do you know? A couple hundred years ago?
No. It's anonymous painting. It happened during the Renaissance.
Oh,
they don't even have a name for the guy that coined it.
Right, but it's kind of the. But then it became grotesque. Became this horror movie, blood everywhere.
Misunderstood.
Right, it's a misunderstanding of the original definition of the word. I noticed there's a consistency of animals throughout. There's a snake in that one and a snake in that one.
Well,
And a snake, I don't know, there's a snake definitely in that one. There's a lot of snake.
we are animals.
And
there's
10
animals within us.
Right. So does each one of these paintings represent something specific for you, or is there do they each have titles?
I can't reveal that much. I mean, like, I have to let the viewer use their imagination.
But they do mean something to you, then, is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
You just don't want to tell us.
I really specific. I want your imagination to run wild.
Well, yeah, no, but
Do they have names?
do they have titles?
Yeah, I might not be able to remember all of them.
Titles?
This one's the newest one. It doesn't have a title yet. It's actually when this show opened, like it was still wet and unfinished, and I just recently finished it like a day or two ago. But yeah.
Awesome. I love it.
You think it's dry now?
Yeah.
Wow. So, okay, so is it psychological, emotional, spiritual? Can you give us that much?
All of the above.
All of the...
And more. It's multiplicity, multi-interest, and just a gathering of everything I can give.
So when did you start painting? Originally?
When I was a little boy.
With oil or...
Oh, no, my, I really like painting, when I was a little boy, like my parents, like my older brother, they set up like a little like easel and something for him to paint in the living room. He was using acrylics, and I was and just the very act of painting that just affected me.
Oh, really?
On a certain level, and so I went to my parents and I was like, Mom and Dad, I wanna paint just like Deva, and they didn't give me. I wanted acrylics. They didn't give me acrylics. They gave me little watercolors. Yeah. Then
what every kid gets.
yeah. Then eventually I got old enough to use acrylics.
Did you?
And by that time, my brother had already transcended to oils. I'm like, damn it.
Did you use the watercolors?
Yeah, I use the watercolors. I've never got attached to
Yeah, no, I hate
texture.
watercolors tough.
I'm power too, but yeah.
Yeah, texture is a big thing. That's what I love about the oil, is it's got a specific, like, acrylic will dry pretty quickly. Where oil, you can manipulate the texture a little more.
I mix stuff into it to have it dry faster. Too.
Yeah.
So, we're at Rad Studios. What's your part in the studio?
I rented this place out, our studio back there, quite a few months ago, and I thought it was a great deal. I mean, this is right along the First Thursday Art Walk, and this place was just like a dirty old lobby, and it's like my first day here, like I'm like, this could so be a gallery. It's the right place at the right time, and I've been pushing for it. Forster Carr, the landlord, he's been pretty supportive. He installed the track lights and built doors and everything, and also Richard York also had some similar ideas, and we used teamwork and put it together.
Nice. You painted the walls?
Yeah,
Did you paint the walls?
Yeah, they were.
Cleaned it all up?
Yeah.
It's called Rad Studios. It's at 325 Northwest 6th Street. And it's very cool. It's
I went
who
down,
owns
yeah.
it?
I don't know, because my landlord is a landlord within a landlord.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it's owned by somebody, but he rents out studio space.
Yeah.
And then, so Gavin, rented out the studio space and then turned the lobby, which was
With a lot of
an
help.
ugly thing, into this gallery that we're sitting in now, which is really nice. You want to head back to your studio and take a look at some of that stuff?
Let's show you magic happens.